Thanks for joining us, everyone, for another edition of Weekend Winners, proudly brought to you by One Equine for the equine athlete. And speaking of equine athletes, there's none bigger than Leap to Fame, and the star is back at the creek this Saturday night. We've got feature racing, the listed classic, the Flashing Red, named in honour of a two-time New Zealand Cup champion. Of course, he was Queensland owned, and we've got Leap to Fame stepping out. This is his first official stand-start race, so it's going to be all important to see how he handles the tapes. He's got to start 20 metres behind his rivals, 10 in front of some others, or 10 behind some others, but it's going to be all important as he builds towards the Directliff Cup and then other features during the Carnival, maybe even the New Zealand Cup later in the year. So we're all looking forward to it. It comes through as race number 4. It's over the long journey, as you would expect, 2,647 metres. Brilliant first up, Leap to Fame. All eyes will be on him once again this Saturday night. But overall, it's a strong program, 10 races, 5:32 start time, and those support races are really well balanced. So there's a lot to look forward to. In this edition of Weekend Winners, we're going to catch up with Angus Garrard and Mitch Turnbull. Angus Garrard has got a super busy night in front of him on Saturday night. 10 race program. The feature is the Flashing Red. Angus has 9 drives on the card, so he is in for a busy, busy night, but he slides into the hot seat now. Angus, appreciate the time.
Not a problem at all, Chris.
You've got a great book of drives here on the weekend. Let's start with race 1. Ragazzo di Tilly. He has come back a monster. He's aiming for 4 straight victories. Last time out, was that a PB performance in your opinion?
Yeah, I think so. He sort of didn't really have anything go his way. He had a bad draw on paper to start with, got left parked out in sort of a fast run race, and still did it pretty comfortable.
What's the big change in Ragazzo di Tilly this year compared to last year? Is he just fully matured, stronger horse now?
Yeah, for sure. He's just strengthened up a heap. He had the speed to go with the 3-year-olds last year in the bigger races, but probably just lacked the strength to sort of be able to put himself in a really good spot. And I think he's got that this year, so hopefully looking forward to the bigger races, he can sort of be a major player.
Okay, so last time out it was the mile. We stepped back up to 2,138 metres. But I'm tipping that's not going to be any sort of problem because he's so versatile.
No, that's right. His previous 2 wins were at the 21 before last start, so the distance won't worry him, and I think he's going well enough that he can be hard to beat again.
What is his preferred trip in your opinion?
Oh, I don't think it worries him too much. He's a pretty versatile horse nowadays, so I think we can sort of race him however we need to over any trip.
Okay, barrier 5 potentially could be a little sticky. What's the first line of thinking here? Do you want to go forward, get handy as quickly as possible?
Yeah, as you say, it's not an ideal draw on paper, but I think we're probably drawn inside sort of a couple of our main dangers, so I think we can be positive early and at least put ourselves in a good spot to start with.
Overall, this is a really tidy race, quite deep in fact, but if you could single out one, who would it be? Is it Free Thinker?
Oh, probably Free Thinker. You go back to last winter and he was I think he won the Rising Sun Consolation and a couple of other nice races, and he looks to have come back well as a 4-year-old as well, so I think he's probably the one to beat.
Yeah, potentially. You guys could be clashing quite a bit over the next, say, 2 months.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way.
All right, so you're happy with Ragazzo di Tilly. That's a great way to start your card of drives here on the weekend. What about in race 2, R11R? Going really well, but does the draw just make it a touch awkward?
Yeah, it does. It probably hurts our chances a touch, but, he's a horse that can be driven however we sort of need to, so we'll just sort of weigh it up as we leave the arm as to what we do, and hopefully with a bit of luck he can be in the finish.
He never runs a bad race, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's an honest little fella, and, he's sort of always thereabouts.
Okay. We always have faith in really good form. Jim RT trialled well against Leap to Fame. 4th first up last week, expecting improvement. Do they loom as the hardest to beat here?
Yeah, for sure. They look the obvious ones, and they come up with nice draws, so sort of makes it a little tough for us. But, he's beaten always. We always have faith before, parked outside him, so he's right in it if he's at his best.
Okay, well, don't sell him short there, R11R. What about in race 3? Here's a bad draw on paper, gate 7, but I'm tipping you're just going straight back here with Nick's pick, and then crossing the toes and fingers, there's a stack of speed here.
Yeah, that's right. It's a super strong race, this, and we got the worst possible draw, so we'll just drive him for luck, and sort of we know how fast he can be if he gets the right trip.
He's got the big 0 against his name, but when you break down the performance last time out, it was more than okay.
Yeah, that's right. On the clock, he was still super good, and he didn't race the most tractably last time out. So I expect sort of improvement in that department this week, and I'm sure he'll run a good race.
Okay. Captain Shuffles, RD's Flash, coming out of last week's free-for-all against Leap to Fame. This race is 2,138 metres, so does that give you a little bit of confidence there that they might just be a little bit vulnerable here?
Oh, maybe. They're class horses and dropping back in grade, as you say. So, it probably looks a chance on paper for Captain Shuffles to sort of dominate a race, which he hasn't been able to do for a little while, I don't think. So, that'll sort of find those two really hard to beat.
Okay. The feature race on Saturday night is race 4, the Flashing Red. Your regular drive here is Manila Playboy. 10 metres behind you is Leap to Fame, so that's not going to be easy to hold him off when he's only giving you 10 metres start. But how do you sort of look at this field and line them all up?
Oh, that's right. It makes it super tough, but you sort of think of it the other way too. Sort of never get a chance in a mobile race to get a 10-metre head start on Leap to Fame. So, we just got to sort of play it by ear and get away for a start. And I think if our guy's 100%, we can be in the finish.
Do you think this is going to be quite tactical, this race?
Yeah, it could be a little tricky initially early. There's sort of a fair few off the front line there that are up in grade a fair bit and probably look like they're going to be on the front end for the first little bit at least. So it could be a little bit tricky for everyone to sort of shuffle up and find their positions initially.
Are you confident that he'll get away cleanly, Manila Playboy?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in his stand-start manners, Chris. Have sort of got him pretty worked out now, I think.
Okay, so ideally, with a lap left to run, where would you like to be sitting here with Manila Playboy?
1-1 on the back of Leap to Fame would be nice, but I don't know whether that'll happen. So, if he's at his best, if he's sort of in the first half of the field stalking around the turn, I'm sure he'll be in the finish.
If Grant gets away cleanly with Leap to Fame, do you think he'll sit for long, or do you think he'll put him into the race as quickly as possible?
Oh, I wouldn't have thought he'd be waiting too long.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the Flashing Red, race number 4. What about in race 5? You've got the drive here on Off Your Rocker Crocker. This looks a fairly open race, so he's not out of it. So how do you rate his chances, Off Your Rocker Crocker?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty even race, as you say. It's probably not a great draw for him. But, he's sort of been stepping up into that bit higher company and racing not too bad. So I'm sure he'll run all right on Saturday night.
Okay, well, that's Off Your Rocker Crocker. What about in race number 6, the Mare's Open? Might as well. You would have been thrilled the way she attacked the line last week, running second. She's got to go up against It's Ebony and Ivory again. Can you go one better?
I think if she's at her best and sort of the races run to suit, she can definitely win. But, it probably looks a race where It's Ebony and Ivory can sort of dictate again.
It was a quick last half last week, and she was making up good ground. So were you pleased with the way she hit the line?
Yeah, I was really happy with her. I've sort of been really happy with her last few runs, but she just sort of hasn't been driving the best. But we sort of made a few little changes, so hopefully she's sort of getting back to, her peak, and she'll race well.
All right. That front row looks like there's a bit of speed there, so the faster the better for you?
Oh, 100%.
Yep, okay. Race number 7, this is the 3-year-old pace, good quality race, and you've picked up the drive on Dragon. He was unplaced with his first run back on Tuesday. He's got barrier 1. I think he had 7 there on Tuesday. Are you expecting a lot sharper effort here on the weekend?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll take good improvement out of that first up run. He's been off the scene for a while, and he's had a trial and a nice soft run first up now, so I'm sure it'll be a lot better.
Okay. It's quite an open race, this one. You can make cases for a few, and there's a few that have good ability. Charge Ahead, Cyclone Tony, Attachment could improve, Air Express, Hot Rod Harry, Quick Change. So not a bad race. It's quite strong, actually. Yeah,
that's right. It is quite strong across the board, and my guy's got really good ability. We sort of know that from his 2-year-old prep. He's just been off the scene for a little while, so I think at his best he's right in it.
Yeah, so whatever he does on the weekend, there's got to be more improvement still to come.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. What about race 8? Keen to get your thoughts here on Mullum Ruby. Now, she was first up unplaced, didn't have a great deal of luck. What can we expect here on Saturday night?
I think she'll run a really good race, Chris. She was really good first up. I was super happy with her. You know, she's trained on good since then, and I think she comes up with not too bad a draw.
Okay, she's more than capable, this mare. She's won 4 from 23. Her record probably doesn't show her true ability, but just with that first up run, just didn't go to plan, did it?
No, that's right. It sort of looked like I was going to get across to a good spot there initially, and you know, we just sort of ended up having to go back and drive her for a bit of luck, and it didn't come, but probably wasn't the worst case scenario first up for her to just have a nice run and a bit of confidence going across the line on the bridle.
She only had the one trial prior. Were you happy with that trial effort?
Yeah, I was very happy.
Okay, so from gate 3, can you use her early here?
Yeah, I think we've got to be positive and put her in a forward spot to start with, and you know, I think from there she can be right there.
All right. And the last race on Saturday night, the trot, defensive guy, I'm sure you're licking your lips with this guy. He was unbelievable first up, and when you look at the sectionals, he couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah, he was enormous. You know, he made an uncharacteristic break, which was disappointing, but on the clock he was exceptional. You know, he ran his last mile in, I think, 55 and a piece over the 2600. So I'm sure we'll see an improved horse on Saturday night, and I think he'll be hard to beat.
There's a lot of paces that can't run those sort of sectionals.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So second up here, he's going to be fitter. No problem with the trip. He'll run a strong 2600.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And then, do you feel he's come back just a little bit better this time compared to that previous campaign? Does he give you that impression that he keeps improving each and every time he comes back in?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's improving in his ability and sort of what he can do, but probably just his manners we're just still trying to iron out. You know, he just wants to lug around a bit and do a few sort of immature things in races at times, but hopefully we're sort of getting on top of that, and I think once we do, we'll see a really good horse.
He's the only horse off the front line. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem. You know, we've sort of got an advantage on our rivals to start with, and, you know, generally he gets away good, so I was really pleased.
Okay. It's a busy night, like I said. Which one are you most looking forward to?
I love driving Regato Tilly and sort of look forward to his future, but I think Defensive Guy looks the obvious one last.
Okay, so race 10, number 1. We'll circle race 1, number 5. Angus, as always, really appreciate the time, and we'll see you trackside.
No worries. Thanks, Chris.
Mitch Turnbull is back with us to go through his runners on Saturday night, and he's in the hot seat now. Mitch, appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
This campaign is going well for you.
Yeah, it's doing well. I've got the odd winner one a week, so enough to keep me going.
Okay, well, let's go through your drives for Saturday night. We start with race 1, the Rainbow Beach. He finally makes his way to Albion Park. His form so far here in Queensland at Redcliffe has been excellent. You must be happy. Yeah,
I've been busting to race him at Albion Park, and when he has a bit of luck here at Redcliffe, he wins, but he's found himself in a lot of bad situations, having to go wide and all that, so having not too bad at Albion Park draw, you know, hopefully goes well.
Okay. Has there been a particular reason why you've just sort of shied away from Albion Park with him at this point?
Not really. I think his form was not as strong at home before he come up, so I think they just wanted to get a bit of bush behind him. If he'd done well in the bush, then take him to the city, and that's what they've done here. He's done well at Redcliffe, and now we're ready to take on the big dogs.
All right. His last start performance here, he was really good. He was able to lead, but he was comfortable getting through the line, and he was never in any threat, really. Were you happy with that performance?
Yeah, he actually goes really good, but he's just so temperamental. If he doesn't want to do it or something goes against him, he pulls up. But if he gets to the front and he's in a good mood, he can run any time he wants. Like when he was a 3-year-old, he used to win going 155 every week, and then like the other night he had comfort and went 156 in a jog sort of thing. So he's training them really well, so I'm looking forward to racing him at the Creek.
Okay, second row draw, is that a concern?
Not really, because I think if he can follow through all right and lob handy, he's been coming from the back at Redcliffe, so I don't think the draw is a bad thing on Saturday night.
Okay, so best in front, but more than versatile, so he's capable if, you know, the circumstances allow it.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, at home, he never won from behind, only one race. Like, I've driven him his whole career, but when I bring him up here, he run a lot of great races from behind, so he has probably changed himself a bit, and that gives me the confidence with this draw on Saturday that he'll run a good race.
Okay, well, that's the Rainbow Beach in race 1. He's horse number 9. Let's go across to race 4, which is the feature on Saturday night. The listed classic, the Flashing Red. Saint Varan, you're up against the best horse in the country and Leap to Fame. He's only giving you 20 metres start. Can he run a place here, Saint Varan?
Yeah, well, he had the stand and start trial and trialled well there about 3 weeks ago and won after that. And probably his last Saturday night I was probably a bit disappointed, but I don't think he gave me his best. But when he's on the rail, I think he will, and as long as he steps all right. And even if they roll, like he is pretty tough, so I'm not too stressed about the 2600, and obviously facing Leap to Fame might be a bit of a bugger, especially on the last lap, but he should run a pretty honest race in himself.
All right, well, that makes a fair bit of sense then, because when he qualified from the stand with that trial that you referenced, he was able to find the front. He just kept going. He could have gone another lap that day. He was really impressive.
Yeah, that's right, and it's one of them things that I've had probably a bit of trouble since I got up here with him of finding races for him, and because he's a tough old horse that probably thrives off racing each week, so I did miss a lot there with him. But then when I did give him that trial that day, I thought I knew what he could do, so I thought I'll just let him do what he wants and keep him happy, and he just kept going and going and won by margin, and then he come out and beat Nathan Dawson's good horse on the Friday night. So he does thrive off a bit of racing, and that's what I'm hoping with. Last Saturday it was a bad run, but I'm hoping if he puts that on his belt, you know, the fitness off it and all that, he should be right to keep up on that.
Okay, so he's not the worst then?
No, to be honest with you, when I first bring up the truckload, that everyone says what horse is your best horse, and I probably didn't give an honest answer because I didn't know, but he's probably run some great races in March, so I was probably most excited to race him. But when all of mine, whenever they have a good trip, they do well, but he was probably the main one that I was looking forward to racing up here because I thought he'd do well, but just missing them races, which is something that was annoying for me, but having him on the track racing each week is going to be key for him, I reckon.
All right, I'm keen to get your thoughts. What do you think of Leap to Fame?
Well, to be honest with you, I had a friend that's new to trotting, been watching, and I just kept saying all week, the best horse in the world's racing on Saturday night. I can't believe it. Like, I was that excited, and then when I watch the race, I just get goosebumps watching him. He's so exciting, and even at the top of the straight the other day, you don't know how he's travelling and all that, but Grant just asks him to go and away he goes, and it just gives you goosebumps. So they said before it's annoying you're in with Leap to Fame, but I sort of found it exciting to be in with him and have a go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the spirit. So we look forward to that with Saint Varan there, drawn barrier 1 in the Flashing Red. What about in race 5? Better Keppel. He's close. He's thereabouts. If he gets any luck, he's going to win. Is that fair?
Well, yeah, he is temperamental, this little fella. He's pretty hot and cold. Like, he's run some really great races with Adam and a couple of nice fence runs for myself. But, yeah, I do think one day he will win a race, but whether it's Saturday or not, he just needs the right trip and be in the right mood, but we'll see how we go.
Okay. Is this a handy draw for him, just being on the pegs where he doesn't have to get involved early, he can just keep following them around and then hopefully get some luck late?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he does like the fence, and if you asked me before, I'd probably say draw 1 or this draw, so it should suit him. Stay out of trouble on the fence and put the indicator on at the top of the straight and go past him.
All right. There's not much of him, is there? He's only a little fella.
No, he's only a little fella, and he's got a really big, thick, long tail that drags on the ground, and they said the other day, you're going to give him a haircut, and I said, no, it's part of his personality, so he's a fashionable little fella, but yeah.
All right, well, that's Better Keppel. And what about in race 9? I'm Desirable. She lands gate 4. What are your thoughts on gate 4? Is that a potentially sticky draw?
Well, probably not too bad with her because it's one of them things, if I have to come out and push forward a touch to find a spot, she has the strength to do it, but if I come across and slot in or go back, so be it. But she has a bit of strength to do minor work early if I have to, so anything she draws I usually don't stress because if I have to do something early, then I know she can do it.
Are you happy with the way she's going?
Yeah, she's run some great races at Albion Park, and she's sort of similar to the others. If they have a bad race, bad draw, they don't do well, but if they have a good draw or a bit of luck and all that, they seem to hit the line flying. So, yeah, she's doing well, and I'm hoping that she'll race to her peak on Saturday night.
All right. Which one are you most looking forward to driving there on Saturday night?
Probably Rainbow Beach, first time there, and his training is so well at the moment at home. He's just doing it well, and you know, coming off Redcliffe last week, hopefully he likes the track, and away he goes.
All right, well, that's race 1, number 9. Mitch, as always, really appreciate the time. You're going well, so continued success, and we'll see you trackside.
Good on you, mate. I'll see you Saturday.
A big thanks to both drivers, Angus and Mitch, and we wish them all the very best of luck there on Saturday night. Both are going around in the feature, the flashing red as well. Time now to find a good thing or two for the program. I think it is a meeting that is going to feature quite a few short price favourites, none more so than Leap to Fame, who's going to be at a very skinny quote in that stand start feature, the flashing red. I'm going to the back end of the program, race 9, number 10, Not to Be Denied. This is a very good mare, part of the Luke McCarthy stable. He produced a good one last week, and I keep smiling. I think this mare does something very similar. I'm expecting it to be short and sweet, Not to Be Denied, taking out race 9, number 10. If you are playing the multis this weekend, certainly include her, Not to Be Denied. As I said, it's a great program Saturday night. 10 races, we're getting closer and closer to the constellations now. Big nights at Redcliffe aren't far away, and then throughout the month of July at Albion Park, it is going to be outstanding. Get along trackside this weekend. First race, 5:32. If you are gambling this weekend, please do so responsibly.